Thank you, King Herod, for coming and submitting to this interview. It's going to be very informative for our viewers. They're going to get to know a lot more about you and about the times that you lived in.
Herod does not submit, but he would grant you an interview.
Bad choice of words on my part. Some of your story, well, is a good bit violent, but I wanted to let you know that we're going to need to know about those things too, and that is just important to knowing who you are and what the times were like. Now, a lot of folks know you as Herod the Great. Is that a term that was used back then? Are you familiar with that term?
A very natural thing to name an enduring leader as myself, Herod the Great. I am not only loved, but respected and hailed as one of the greatest kings of the Roman, the Greek, or Jewish civilizations.
I see. You don't mind if we delve into the killings, do you? BC 44 and 43 was a pretty rough time, right? Your father and Julius Caesar were murdered during that time, and about the same time, that was during the time of the Parthian penetration, I believe. Your brother committed suicide, and Hyrcanus was captured during that time. What did all that mean to you, and what did you learn from that?
Well, yes. I guess looking back, that was a time of a time of change. A beginning to me. If you'll remember back, Brutus and Cassius arranged the murder of Caesar. A young Mark Antony and Octavian, the next Roman Caesar, pursued Cassius, with whom we were in league, and with whom we were paying tribute to. And so, it was a difficult time. It was around that time, 43, I think you would call it, although I certainly don't number it so, that I married Mariamne in order to keep my claim to the throne. As you know, Cassius was defeated, and I had to scramble to make new and bold alliances with old enemies to keep my own head and kingdom.
Well, I do know that assassinations seem to be just a part of the politics of that time. And so was marriage. Can you tell us about your marriages?
Marriages? I had plenty. I was married at least 10 times. I had dozens of children. I cannot say that marriages meant anything to me, nor were they happy. And why should they be? They were simply a means to an end. I am Herod the Great. I take what I want, and I make myself happy. I am great because I am great, and that makes me great. I need no nagging wife or brats under the table to tell me that I am great. I'm married to secure my kingdom and build alliances.
It seems kind of odd that you were king of Judea, but you're not Jewish, are you?
Rome knows what the Jews need. Rome knows best. Rome will tell the Jews what they want. And besides, even though my mother was an Arabian, my father worshipped the Jewish God. The Jews will try to tell you that you cannot be Jewish if your mother was not a Jew. But what do they know? I am Herod the Great. I make myself a Jew. I am Herod. Who dare defy me?
Let's change the subject a little bit. You commissioned some massive building projects. Can you tell us something about the temple project?
Ah, yes. Building. A passion of mine. I built new walls around the city of Jerusalem. I built the citadel overlooking the temple. I named this Antonio after my patron, Mark Antony. I had buildings erected in Jericho and Samaria. I built an entirely new port city, Caesarea. And bless my beard, I even rebuilt the temple of Jerusalem. And even the unhappy Jews seemed to like it. Not that I cared.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. You reigned over Judea for a long time, just over 40 years. Just how did you manage to do that? Weren't there plots and politics?
Politics? Sure. Always have been, always will be. But a king has got to be king. I wouldn't say that I was ruthless, but I made an example out of those who stood in my way.
Just the other day, I read someone found an inscription in Ephesus dated 4 BC. That's our terminology, referring to Caesar Augustus as the God made manifest and the universal Savior of human life. But about that same time, there was some magi that came asking about some new king that was born. Do you remember any details about that?
Ah, yes, your strange calendars again. 4 BC. What nonsense! But yes, I believe I know the time to which you refer. Wealthy scribes, men of renown and knowledge, came from a far distant land following a heavenly beacon. Now, I'm not a man of superstition, but I know a prophecy when I hear one, and this one got my whiskers twitching. I followed the hunch until the very end. I wouldn't have any upstart from a tiny town such as Bethlehem challenging me. Ha! I nipped that weed in the bud.
You mentioned ruthless. It seems a little harsh and ruthless that you would order the killing of all those babies. Were you that worried about a new king being born and coming from Bethlehem?
Of course. I am Herod the Great. Everyone thinks about me. But I'm a guy. I mean, a king who must protect his kingdom. Sacrifices have to be made, and sacrificing a few babies from Bethlehem is a small price to pay for my kingdom and my throne.
Okay. How would you sum up your reign? Easy? Was it friendly? Reign? Was it productive? Successful? Difficult?
I was always successful, even when I failed. I scratched, I clawed, I climbed, I rose, I made myself into the great Herod the Great. I have no friends. I need no friends. I am Herod the Great. I am only subject to Caesar, and then only when his eye is upon me. I am Herod the Great.
I think I've gotten the great part. What does it take to be a good king?
A king must be king. Everyone in the world will try to wrest your kingship from you, but a great king must defend his kingship at all costs. Wives will have to be sacrificed. Sons may need to be put on the altar of advancement. But if you can forfeit your life, your family, everyone you love, even sacrifice those you rule over for the pleasure of being king for a season, then you have a chance to be a king that knows he's a king and will not let anyone stand in his way.
Thank you so much for the honor to be able to interview you. Like I said, the viewers are going to be able to understand you so much more and the times that you lived in. Thank you.
Very well.